Hello and welcome to This Naked Chat, a podcast where six friends from different walks of life come together for honest, unscripted conversations about living alcohol-free and everything that comes with it. We all met at a live event hosted by Annie Grace of This Naked Mind in March of 2024. What started as a mastermind group with the six of us and Annie turned into some really deep friendships, filled with connection, tough conversations, and a lot of laughter. And after a year of growing and learning together, we realized that these conversations might help more than just us. So here we are, no scripts, just real talk. We are incredibly grateful to Annie and This Naked Mind for helping us get this off the ground and for the impact that her work has had on each of our lives. I am Brian, and I am joined by Kori, Agnes, Judi, Jenie, and Sammie. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Brian.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
Hello, everyone.
What are we? What is, let's see, what's this say? Episode number 23. Yay!
That's awesome.
Wow,
And today,
that's right.
we are going to discuss redefining success from hustle to alignment.
Oh.
I really do not pick these out based on my life, but holy hell does that feel triggering right now. Anyone
So
put that-
I just finished The Way of Integrity by Martha Beck.
Oh, interesting.
It's so relevant to this
Nice.
particular. Yep.
Okay,
Who
then
put
start
this
us
one
off,
in?
Kori.
Do you know who? I can look. Who entered this or what we were looking for here?
Wasn't me.
Absolutely no idea.
Cool. Well,
That sounds like a Kori one, though, doesn't it?
I don't
what
think I did it, but I mean, that's been months ago that I put
True that.
things in, and so
this says there was a note on this one that said how our relationship with ambition changes and how we redefine what success means after years of chasing or performing.
okay, maybe I did do that. That does sound like something I would write.
I mean,
Yeah, it's totally Kori language.
a
Just
couple
saying.
of us fit that one, but
No one would articulate it as well as you, Kori.
I don't know about that, but it does sound like something I would say. Yeah, I mean, I think that it changes, right? Like how we define success, because we all go through this process of like trying to chase like these material things and then figure out that it didn't make me feel good, right? Like there was this huge promise of being successful and having all the money and the, the esteem and whatever. And then you're still left like feeling like shit. And so you're like, well, that didn't turn out. I totally was disconnected from myself and I did what everybody else told me to do to be successful. And yet here I am like holding the bag. And so I think a lot of us come to this point in our life where we're like, that was not what I wanted and it doesn't feel good. And so now how do I redefine this to make it, connected to what's really me and what's really important to me. And, it's painful, right? It's painful to go through that and to like realize that you have to reassess. But, I mean, otherwise, the alternative is to like live the rest of your life and that in that way that didn't give you any satisfaction to begin with. It's unfortunate.
An interesting aspect of what you just said for me is how does identity play into that too? Because that's been a big question for me personally.
Amen.
So
Amen.
I wonder how much of that is based on value system. Right? And as we mature, our values can become more in depth or they change a great deal and we become more spiritual, if you will, for lack of a better word. And our values change. And so when we look at all this stuff that indeed was valuable to us, or so we thought, back in the day, when we got involved with it, yeah. And now it's like, wait.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Or even just
wonder,
more,
too-
more. Go ahead.
Well, mine was going to be brilliant.
Go for it. Let's hear the brilliance.
No, I wonder, instead of maybe our values changing, that we're coming closer to what we really were.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I think it's the same thing, but that's how it felt like for me, and maybe, you know, from this like midlife sort of thing, is like it almost felt to me like I was on someone else's path, and I started to realize that, and I was like, but now, I mean, I think this is where I kind of still am, is like, to your point, Judi, now how do I getting to that point of like, okay, now, but what's this look like now for me, I think has been tougher.
Yeah. I mean, that's
You know?
that's totally what I was going to say. I
Well,
never,
too bad,
to me,
Kori.
it feels like not even so much that my values changed. It's just like reconnecting to them, because it feels like, you know, somewhere along the line, I got told that, or at least, you know, somehow made to feel from culture, from whatever, that no, you have it wrong, right? Like what you think your values are, or what you think, you know, you should be pursuing, is really not the way. And so, you know, let us tell you that really the way is like, you know, material success, financial success, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And so it's to me, it's like this removing of that BS, that screen, to like, for you to get connected back to what really were your values all along. And like, and just getting more clarity around it. I mean, you know, there's something to be said for like just understanding yourself better and understanding those values better. Even you kind of had like a notion of it when you were young, and then now you're kind of at that age of like being able to articulate it for yourself.
Well, that's a good point too, is like, I couldn't have clearly articulated it, so maybe they did really change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's where it's been tough, is like, what were they as a kid? I don't know.
Yeah, but don't you think in personal development, we take on the values that are instilled upon us by family, or whoever our upbringing people are. So whoever our upbringing people are. And so then when we come into self-actualization, we then say, wait, that's your gig, not my gig. It's not my gig. And then we get to a point of self-confidence where we can say that and not be anxious or scared that we're going to alienate those who instilled their values on us, even if we have a rough go of it.
Yeah.
Right. Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, the busyness, we're always busy. So it's like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And that's what a lot of us need to stay motivated in moving day by day. And then sometimes that, you know, the circumstances change and we may be forced to slow down by our bodies, by losing a job, by who knows what it is. And then that's when we start reevaluating everything, but it becomes very uncomfortable because we're so used to what's the next thing. So how do you just sit there and start exploring, well, what do I really want or need?
And what do you think drives that busyness?
I think that people are afraid to be alone by themselves in their bodies, because that's scary, because we're not taught, especially in North America. It's always, what is the next thing? And it tends to be materialistic. Or it's even when my kids were in sports, well, they got to be better and they got to be better. It's never enough. So get into the skating lessons and do these lessons and that one. And schools, everyone's in school, but they have tutors and they're going to these other math schools and English schools. And like, it's just, one thing isn't enough. And it just keeps on going. And, you know, some people, then they have this free time and they don't know what to do with it. And it feels wrong and off. And then that's where it's the bad eating habits, or finding other things to occupy your time with.
So it's that creating busyness to numb the feeling of disconnection from self, from values, that kind of
Exactly.
I wonder too.
compulsive.
I was thinking to that point of one of the things that I think has caught me up is like I might have a pretty clear picture of like who I think I am, but it's letting go of the things that maybe I thought I was. Like I don't have any faith that if I really am myself, I don't know what that's going to look like. So I hang on to everything that is it's really uncomfortable, but I hang on to it because I know it.
Mm-hmm.
And so much after I do this sitting and even, sometimes it's that panic of like, God, I've been sitting for a year, 2 years. There's this panic of like, I'm not doing anything. But I think so much of that for me has come from I don't know what is there.
Mm-hmm.
So I hang on to this uncomfortable stuff.
Yep.
Oh, that,
100%.
the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you're not feeling 100% confident within your own self, makes it incredibly difficult to take that leap of faith into just being with yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And the busyness stuff, all that stuff you're talking about, Agnes, is again, cultural values being imposed on us that we succumb to. Right? Because, I mean, there are families that say, no, we're not going to do all that nonsense.
Yeah.
You're staying home. You're going to stay home. We're going to work, you're going to develop you as a person. We're not going to scatter you out so much.
It's interesting for me to consider, going back to my identity crisis bit, but also relating to what y'all have said. I think for me, having just rounded the bend of 60, mortality comes into my head a lot more than it did 10 years ago and even a year ago when I still had that number 5 in my age. And now so I find myself mentally, I'm circling back to Agnes's busyness thing, of operating much too much in a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And I think from my observation, I think that's what drives some of our busyness, in addition to being uncomfortable just being. I think we always feel like, the shoulds, the attacks of the shoulds. I should be doing X, Y, or Z. So all of that plays together for me and how I am looking at redefining ambition for myself now, which is very different than it was, 50 years ago. Very different.
So are you saying that you are like, you think that you're more driven because there's less time, or like how does the scarcity of time is playing more in?
The scarcity of time has not yet translated into being more ambitious, unfortunately. I could hope that might happen. I think the scarcity of time has led me to a place where ambition sort of becomes a lot less relevant. And savoring is what I'm trying to get, shall we say, good at doing now.
Yep.
Which I'm hoping, in the moments that I've noticed, I really am savoring, all that ambition just falls away and it sure is lighter. The struggle I'm having is, am I justifying laziness by saying, well, I'm just not ambitious and, blah, blah, blah. Because why would I ever just let a happy savoring moment be a happy savoring moment without complicating it?
I wonder too there, Judi.
Wait. I just wanted to comment on Jenie. Don't you think, Jenie, that the savory is actually gift? Because we don't have to build a whole life. We've had a whole life. because I am 5 years your senior, remember? So I've been at this for 5 more years than you. But anyway, but it's more like now we stop and smell the roses. And now we say, okay, we have planted all the seeds. Not that we're not going to continue to plant the seeds, but it takes a different value to it. It has more quality focus as opposed to quantity.
There are
right?
very, 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 very few things now that I do that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Very few.
But that's not, I don't think that's a universal thing. I mean, I know plenty of people who are like, I got to see all the things, right? Like I've got to travel everywhere. I have to be to every country. I have to see all the stuff. I have to do the bucket list. I have to, whatever money I haven't made, I got to make the rest of the money. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know the busyness, right? Like Agnes was saying, like that can still continue even once
That's
you
true.
round the bend of 60 or 70 or whatever it is. Like, I don't know what
It's
So
true.
that begs the question, how comfortable are those people with themselves?
right. Right. I agree. And like what, when it doesn't necessarily come naturally, apparently, it doesn't just like, because I turned 60, then now all of a sudden I don't feel like I have to check every box. I mean, I think there is the box checking still happening for a lot of people.
That's a good point.
Well, when you said like you've kind of had to step back and redefine what ambition means. I think that's what I've had to do. Like, let's say that when I look at a dating profile and someone says they're looking for someone ambitious, I immediately go, not me. But
Swipe left.
But like, this was actually my therapist that called me out. He's like, you have been ambitious. Yeah. It's just a very different way of, it used to mean to me like, go climb the corporate ladder. I had to, and I think I still struggle with this, but how to reframe what ambition is doesn't mean like I have to go change the world. Even because when that seems to come in is when I get all thrown off, right? Is when it's like, I have to do something grand versus like, I think what you're talking about is just being like, kind of appreciate what I am doing and almost slowing down, like Agnes was saying, like not being impatient. I don't know. That's a tough one for me to define still, what ambition means.
Well, and also you do realize that in a dating profile, what that means is that's code for you cannot live in your mother's basement. I know. That's what must have ambition means.
Oh.
So see, Brian, you could swipe right on some
I know.
of those.
I feel like I'm like in that George Costanza thing, it's like.
This episode is sponsored by This Naked Mind, a revolutionary approach to changing your relationship with alcohol. When it comes to your drinking, you don't have to hit rock bottom to want something different, and you don't have to do it alone. This Naked Mind blends neuroscience, psychology, and self-compassion to help you stop relying on willpower and start creating real, lasting change. No shame, no labels, and no rules. Whether you want to take a break, drink less, or stop drinking for good, This Naked Mind has a program that meets you where you are, with world-class coaching and a compassionate, judgment-free community to support you every step of the way. Learn more about This Naked Mind at thisnakedmind.com.
Yeah.
Well, then it goes back to the motivation again, right? So
Exactly.
there's that whole motivation. So seek pleasure, avoid pain, conserve energy, and confirmation bias, right? So that's why we do everything that we do as a human being.
Brought to you today by Affective Liminal Psychology.
Yeah, right. But like, I think that people are afraid that because of that like, well, if I'm not super ambitious and driven and disciplined and blah, 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 then I'm just going to like crumble into a lazy pile of shit. Right.
For sure.
I think that's what people are afraid of, but that's not your natural inclination, right? Your inclination is actually to seek the pleasure of pursuing those values and of living in alignment with your values. And that the only time you're quote unquote lazy is because you feel that discomfort of living out of alignment. People are not just like apathetic, lazy pieces of shit. That is not what people are, right? They're in no way do they just devolve into that, get, left to their own devices. It's all those other motivations that also, balance that out.
Amen, to quote you.
Interesting. So it's just that now what we're going after is so different from what we were going after that it feels
exactly.
like we are lazy.
And we're adjusting because we don't know how to not do what everyone else is doing.
Yes.
At
There's
least
also,
speaking for myself.
it seems like there's that, what, I don't know if it would be called beginner's mindset or whatever, but like you're almost starting in something that you're not experienced in, right? Like you're
Amen.
like,
That's right.
I always knew this. I knew how to do business analysis. Now, if someone put me in a room doing that, I could last 1 hour.
Yep.
But I don't know this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but because we don't teach this.
Exactly.
That's
because we don't teach this because this is as individual as you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there is, I can't teach you this because I would be teaching you my this, and my this is not your this.
Damn it, Judi.
And the only way to figure that out is you have to slow down.
That's
You
right.
have to slow down.
Right out.
Otherwise,
That's right.
you're not going to get that clarity at all.
Yep.
You won't even know what your values are if you don't slow down.
Right.
And
There's
pay
another
attention.
amen. That's
Pay
another high
attention.
five amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, it's like I'm trying to put together my story for speaking events. And again, what is my story? And I get stuck in this because immediately I go into that entrepreneur side of it. What sell? How am I going to sell myself? Well, am I selling myself? That's not what I want. I want to tell my story. I want to do the humanity part of it. That's what this stage of my life is now. But I keep falling back into the other one because that's all I know. And I don't know how to get past that. And that's what I'm working through. So again, we're so used to all of these things that now when we slow down, it's very uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, how do you balance that, right? Like, I mean, I think like there is a need for most human beings to have some money, right? So there, you know, I think this is what has been really tough is like, you need to make money, but you also want to kind of continue down that path. And you, I guess it's like trust that this is going to work out is maybe the answer, but at the same time, I need money. It's that's where I think there's a disconnect there for me.
Well,
is
the
like you need to pursue
motivation.
something. Yeah.
Right? It's like, what are you motivated to do? So for instance, I know somebody who they don't like their job. They can't stand their job. They're miserable all day long.
Right.
But they want that money. That job is paying them so well. And they want that money because they want to buy that house or that car or that vacation. So for them to get through that job every day, all they think about is, oh my God, I'm going to be away. I'm going on that vacation, whatever it is. That's how they're doing it. So that's not in alignment. That has nothing to do with the values, but for whatever reason, that's their motivation.
Right. And I don't
And I mean,
think
that was mine for so long. Yeah.
Well, and they're not mutually exclusive, right? Like the pursuit of financial gain and you being authentic to yourself and your pursuit of values are not mutually exclusive. And that even if you are doing a job that you don't particularly like, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not living out your values, you know, and that you're so disconnected from yourself. It's that the way that you see that job might be differently because you're living authentically versus, you know, inauthentically, like in Agnes's example of like somebody who's just in it because they are trying to buy a big house and, you know, maintain a level of status versus somebody who's like, I really don't like this job, but I have this grand plan for this money because I'm going to go, you know, start an orphanage and wherever, right? Like, I think it's they don't have to be like these two worlds that never between shall meet.
When I guess even in that job, you can still be different from who you were, like be you, you know, of like, I'm going to be a business analyst, but boy, I'm going to be a really authentic and kind one or something.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know.
Right.
It bellies up to what's your purpose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, we solved that. All right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right.
What, I don't know that I want to open that. Nope, someone else. What are your go-to? We'll do this. So like when you do feel those kind of pangs of wanting to get busy, or, you know, those things that are calling you back to some of your old maybe habits that didn't serve you. Like for me, it's like I will get on and like look for jobs, or just be busy. Like I'll find things to do, classes to take, whatever. Do you have any like go-to techniques to kind of catch yourself and come back to?
How does it feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I haven't gotten to show my sweatshirt yet.
Oh, there you go.
Make empathy cool again. Like, it's okay to like, you know, have empathy for yourself. Like, if you notice, like, oh, I'm jumping into this like busy mode again, and like, that's cool. Like, it's fine. Like, maybe you need to spend half an hour like looking at jobs or whatever. I mean, that's fine. Let your brain do that little process, and, you know, feel like you did it, or feel like whatever you needed to work through that you needed to work through. But just like, you know, don't start beating yourself up because you're like, oh, damn it, I'm not on the way of enlightenment because I started looking at soul crushing jobs, you know. Yeah.
And everything has a season, right? And it's a true thing. And so we have seasons of busy and seasons of hopefully rest and seasons of in between if we let them be there. But
and they can quickly turn into each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say it's easy all the time. That's part of the reason I live somewhere where there are 4 seasons, because otherwise I think I'm serious, because otherwise I would be, you know, a lot of the time.
What do you find? I ask, I think I might have sent this to Kori. How do you recognize that maybe you're doing something to pull you off of your, so here, I'll give an example and then we'll see if it makes sense. Sometimes I will go pursue like additional certifications or education. And sometimes to me, that could be that I'm making myself busy versus doing something. Does that make sense? Like I'm it's healthy. It feels good. I want to do it. But sometimes I'm like, what are you really trying to do? And what are you kind of pulling yourself away, saying that you need more? You know?
Totally resonates.
Yeah.
Totally resonates.
Well, I mean, I think what you just said is it. Like, if it feels like you're doing it because you need more, like you're feeling inadequate, and that's why you're pursuing it, then that's probably an indication that it really wasn't something that you were really called to do. Or are you doing it because you really want the intellectual stimulation, right? Like, you really are interested in this topic and you want to, like, you know, get more into it, and you want to have people to talk to you about it or whatever. Like, what is your motivation behind it? And like, you know, I've been doing this practice about, it's called, well, I've heard other people call it two-way prayer, and they pray to God. And we might have talked about this. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. But anyway, I started this practice where I'm like, I ask myself, like, hey, and usually you need some kind of like centering thing before you do it. Like, meditating beforehand is a really good one, or just like reading some kind of like awe-inspiring poetry, or looking at like, you know, also really cool awe-inspiring photographs and stuff will do it for me. But like, just this kind of centering sort of activity. And then you ask yourself, like, okay, you know, deepest, truest me, what would you have me know today? Right. And so you're just trying to like listen really intently for like that really deep part of you of like, yes, I really do want to like dig into this, and I really do want to have like connections with other people that care about this topic, or, you know, like just having that listening and trying to like cut through the BS noise in your head that tells you that you're not enough, and that you need to pursue, you know, 3 more master's degrees before you'll be worthwhile.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Was that from, you mentioned a book early on and then we never touched on it. was from that, right? Martha Beck.
Oh no.
No?
She doesn't
Oh.
talk about the two-way prayer, I don't think, in
Okay.
Way of Integrity. I forgot what book two-way prayer is from. It is from something, but I can't remember.
Okay. Well,
But Martha Beck has a ton of other cool activities, though. Like the whole book is just kind of just like it's really actually she's kind of a genius. So she frames this whole thing in Dante's Inferno, the poem, the long poem, Dante's Inferno, and it's an allegory for this way of integrity and how you sort of get through to integrity and living, out your authentic self. It's quite interesting how she frames this. But then like every chapter has an exercise that's quite interesting that helps you get like in touch with, the things that you hate and the things that you really love and the parts of your life where you're not living integrity. It's quite it's a good book. It's totally worthwhile.
Living with Integrity.
The way
The
of
way of.
integrity.
The way of.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Can't wait to get kickback for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone else? We did it.
Yep.
This was a good one.
Good work. Hey, you said it this time instead of me acting surprised. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hey, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something we said resonated, made you laugh, or made you think, we'd love it if you share it with someone who might need it too. And if you're curious about going alcohol-free or just ready to feel more connected to yourself, check out This Naked Mind. Annie's work brought us all together, and we're so grateful for the impact it's had. On that note, a big thank you to Annie Grace and This Naked Mind for making this podcast possible. We'll see you next time on This Naked Chat.